Alexander Wright is the visionary driving force behind the creation of the African Heritage Food Co-op and many other innovative community initiatives. He shares over 20 years of stories, anecdotes, and cautionary tales garnered from living life as a Black, educated, heterosexual man who has made some of the best and worst decisions. Beautifully flawed, his insight is unique, authentic, and gritty. From good shit to hood shit to bullshit. He's going to cover it all in quips and riddles, the hilarity of what is his life.
What's going on, good people? This is Alex Wright, another episode of Quips and Riddles, the hilarity that is my life, with your boy named Alex Wright. We're going to go live again and hopefully do a better job than we did last week. The subject of this week's topic is Kevin Samuels and the Cheesecake Factory. I have been looking at a lot of the scuttlebutt that people have been talking about relationships, right? So from the guy side, from the lady side, and I've kind of been sitting here trying to figure it out, like, what the hell is really going on, right? What are people really saying? So one of the things at law school only teaches you one thing, right? And it just teaches you how to kind of back up from the issue and look at it holistically, right? And then it gives you the ability to argue any side, right? So if you have anybody who's been to law school, the argument is going to be a pain in your behind. I've read a lot of articles about Kevin Samuels, and I've seen some of the videos in clips, but I've never really been an avid supporter. I've never really watched and figured out what the hell he was talking about. So this week, I spent a little time in looking into kind of what he's saying. So, and this is what I got. And this is why we're doing it on live, because, you know, I love for you guys to have any comment or anything that you would like to say along with this. So this is what I'm getting from this. He talks about a high value man being a man who makes six figures, a person that people recognize. They have a network of high value men around them, and they're useful to others in a group, right? And then he says that there's a thing called hypergamy, which means that there's such a low amount of these guys that women would circle toward these guys. And that, I guess, some women have unrealistic expectations on their ability to attract these certain kind of men. And I was watching some of his stuff, and like, it's weird, because if you're looking at a person like, do I care that she's a size 4? Do I care that she's 5'5"? Do we care that, you know, any of those things? I don't think so. But I know a lot of people are very superficial, and that's kind of what they feel and what they believe. But I wanted to kind of dig into him to kind of see, like, what the hell was he talking about? And that's kind of what I got from all of that, right? And then secondarily, I looked at some other information. So there's an article called, what is it called? It is called, Do Men Even Like Women? And it said, here's solid proof that they really don't. So I've been trying to look at all sides of this crazy issue. And let's see here. I'm trying to share my screen. That was up 2 seconds ago, because I want you to see this article. This article was by a woman named Mona Lazar. And again, it's called, Do Men Even Like Women? Here's solid proof they really don't. And she talks about how and she starts out, have you noticed how men shame another man by comparing him to a woman? And says that she could rest her case right there, and this could be a 1-sentence article to prove her point. And to a degree, she's right. I've heard that, don't cry like a girl, don't act like a girl, don't do that, stand up and be a man. And I can see how that would be denigrating. I can see how that could be frustrating. I can see how that could be difficult. But again, the other side of that may be showing the young man that his role is different in the life of his girlfriend or his wife or his mother. And maybe that's something that needs to be taken into account, because there needs to be a difference, right? If you're laying in a bed and there's a noise in the basement, right? I don't think that a man should be looking at his wife to go down there and see what the noise is, right? Or go down and see, like, I think that should be his job. But that's me. That's what I think. But I also don't think that we should do it in a way that denigrates women or denigrates femininity or any of those things. So it's like this, it's this teeter-totter, this balance. But then you see that, and hey, we don't want to say or basically make a difference between a boy and a girl. And okay, that's fine. I understand gender fluidity and where we are on this planet with that. But then there are TikToks, right? So there's this TikTok, and I had set this up to share the screen. I need a producer is what I need. If anybody out there who wants to help be a producer so I can do this exactly how I want to do this, I will greatly appreciate that. Because there's a TikTok, and in the TikTok, let's see if I play it, if you can hear it. In the TikTok,
and wear like earrings and shit. Like,
let's go back, because this young lady is, and this is what she says, and let me know if you can hear this or not.
True or false, in a heterosexual relationship, the man should always pay. Say louder.
Yes, like, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm a modern girl, but I guess that's my really for real only traditional value. Mm-hmm.
So, young lady, the topic of the TikTok is called the Sassy Band Apocalypse. And she's saying, and she was asked if in a heterosexual relationship, the man should pay, right? And she's saying that she's not a modern, traditional woman on any other aspect except on the fact that the man should pay, right? So you have the one article that's saying that there shouldn't be gender roles and there shouldn't be things assigned to a man and to a woman. But then on the other hand, you have this specific statement and people saying that, hey, you should pay, or you should do certain things that would be defined as gender roles, which is confusing, right? And she even goes on to say that if you don't do that, you're part of what's called the Sassy Band Apocalypse. And, I wasn't familiar with this. I guess I'm old. But as I was doing a research for this, I was learning about the Sassy Man Apocalypse, right? So I'm not seeing comments, so I don't know if you can hear this, but
like, I just feel like we're in a Sassy Man Apocalypse. Like, why don't y'all want to get paid for dinner? Like, is it that, like, men used to go to war. They used to cut grass. They used to build.
So, and then she says, hey, you should just pay for dinner. And she feels that we're in a Sassy Man Apocalypse because men used to go to war, men used to cut grass, men used to do all of these things that men don't currently do. So those are roles, right? So when I read the article from Do Men Like Women, and she says the author theorizes that we don't. And one of her biggest claims is that we define gender roles. We define what men are and what women are and what men should be doing and what women should be doing. And she says we shouldn't do that. Okay, I hear that. But then we look at this other clip of this other young lady saying, no, you should be doing some of these roles, right? And then starting to break down the kind of roles that men should have and should be doing. So much so that if you don't do that, you're quote unquote part of the sassy man apocalypse. And then she breaks down that, men used to build houses, men used to cut grass, men used to do this, men used to do that, right? So then I, researching and looking around, I found this clip from T.I. interviewing, he was interviewing Kevin Samuels. And he talks about, I don't know if you can hear this. I'm going to play a little bit of it.
According to the data statistics, Match.com, right. See, online dating is giving us a lot of information. Black women rate looks higher than any other group.
So in case you can't hear it, he's saying that according to Match.com or, online dating, that black women rated looks higher than any other thing, right? And finances.
Rate looks and height.
Looks and height,
man. So and your money. I show last night.
So looks, height, and finances. Okay, but the point I want to make is coming up after this.
You'd be amazed how many women would not be willing to accept men who are blue collar, even if they made more money. What?
So, all right. So the point he's making is that there are a lot of women who won't accept men that are blue collar, right? So in the one video, we have the young lady talking about, hey, why the sassy man apocalypse? Men aren't paying for dinner. They're not building things. They're not cutting grass. They're not doing any of that. But some of the statistics show that a lot of women are not gravitating toward the blue collar guys, and the guys who actually cut grass and the guys who are building things and the guys who are, right? They're more attracted to the guy in the suit and the guy who's doing this. Further on that is something that came out earlier this week when the young lady was saying that a high value woman gives a list of jobs that high value men don't do, right? And I don't know if you can hear this, but I'll break it down as we go. So I don't know who this person is, and maybe, again, I'm older, so I should know her maybe, but I don't know. But if you go on TikTok or you put in your Google search, high value woman gives a list of jobs that high value men don't do.
Here's a list of jobs that men should not do, especially grown-ass men, okay? For one, McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's.
So grown-ass men should not work at McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, okay?
Matter of fact, any fast food restaurant.
No fast food restaurant whatsoever, okay.
You think that you're a grown-ass man working in a fast food restaurant is okay? Something is wrong with you.
So part of me, I wanted to ask her, like, okay, what if he owns the restaurant? Like, what if he's working in there, either worker or owner? Does that change your statement or change your mindset or no?
All right, leave those jobs to the teenagers. My nephew can't even get a job right now because there's some grown-ass men in his goddamn 40s flipping my goddamn burger.
So her nephew can't get a job because of some grown-ass men in his goddamn 40s flipping burgers. All right? All right.
Okay, let it go. Leave it alone. That job is not for you. Anything in retail, okay? I don't want to see no grown-ass man handing me a dress
So also in retail, if you work in retail, you're gonna, she doesn't want to see a grown ass man handing her a dress, right? Okay. So what about like stylists? What about people, professional shoppers, especially those folks who work for the stars? They make a lot of money, but okay, she doesn't want to see that. All right. Okay, cool.
Okay, why are you a grown ass man working at Ross? That makes absolutely no sense. Okay, Target, Marshalls.
Ross, Target, Marshalls, all bad jobs, apparently. Don't work there. Okay, I get it.
Like, guys, give it up. Leave these jobs to the kids. Leave these jobs to the teenagers. These are jobs you get in high school, in college. But once you're a grown ass man, you do not need to be working in any fast food restaurant or any retail.
So no fast food restaurants, no retail. As a grown ass man, a person of value. Okay, got it. Then she goes further.
And for you high value men that think that it's high value to work for the city, let me tell you something.
So apparently it's also not high value to work for the city. Okay, so if you work for the city, and this goes back to what they were saying on Expeditiously with T.I. and Kevin, they're talking about some people not preferring blue collar or not wanting blue collar men, right? So we go back to the young lady who's talking about the sassy man apocalypse, right? Okay, where are the men who pay for dinner? Where are the men who could cut grass, who could do this, who could do that, who can do all the blue collar stuff, right? So that's one. And then you get this, right? So be a blue collar dude, but don't be a blue collar dude, right? Have gender roles, but don't have gender roles. Okay? All right.
You're absolutely wrong, all right? No police officers, no fire.
Apparently, police officers and firefighters are not high value folks either. And it's weird because there are police officers and firefighters who are making a pretty penny, plus benefits, plus pension, but apparently, according to this person, they're not high value, right? And that kind of confirmed what they were saying in the other thing about the blue collar guy or the dirty guy who's out there making a living is being looked over in by certain folks, right? And I have a whole point to this, so just rock with me for a few minutes.
Fighters, no construction workers, no mailmen, no post office. If you consider that a hot,
no construction workers, no mail people, a mail person, a post office person. I guess there are different jobs in the post office, but okay. So, and apparently she ends this by saying that if you want a high value woman like her, then you have to be a high value guy. And these guys who put their lives on the line every day, go on the fires for people, work sanitation, do things like that, they're not high value people. Okay, so all right, so then I go back to the article. Again, article was called Do Men Even Like Women? Here's solid proof they really don't. The article is by a lady named Mona Lazar, Lazar, so you can look it up. So again, she talks about there should be no gender roles because that's denigrating to women. So, okay. And that masculinity is not pro-male, but anti-female. Okay. So we talked a little bit about that. And she talked about shame being the root of all evil, that the main tool that society uses to steer men away from the smallest attempt at honoring their complex personality, feminine side, and basic humanity is shame. Right? So, and then on the one hand, I understand that because, if you're crying, if you're overly emotional or sensitive as a man, you do get berated. You do get talked down to. You do get, I guess, bullied in some way. So I understand where she's coming from on that. But then on the other side of that, it's like we can't be the same, right? The only way partnerships work is that if there are two different elements in the partnership. So if I'm designed to watch the front and you're designed to watch the back, then we're all covered, right? But if I've been trained to watch the front and then you also watch the front, then our back is open, right? So while I get it and I understand her in the way that people couch it in antagonism and couch it in hatred and right, and we shouldn't do that. But I don't think that we should not let folks be different in whatever the relationship is. And I think one of the biggest things that I want to talk about here and say here is that your relationship is your relationship, right? And who you are is who you are. So if you're the guy and you do more of the domestic role, that's fine. If you're the woman and you do out of the house role, that's fine. Whatever you guys decide in your house and in your space is fine, right? But you can't let what Kevin Samuel says or what this Miss Lazar is saying or people on TikTok, you can't let them dictate who you are and what you're looking for and how you define what you want, who you want, and how you want it. And just because I may want a person in my life to help me in certain areas doesn't make me a terrible person. Just because you want the person in your life to help you in certain areas doesn't necessarily make you a terrible person. Right. And it does. Social media has people thinking that, oh, you know what? If I'm a housewife, then I don't mean anything. I'm a terrible individual and I just suck, right? Or if I'm a blue collar worker and I work on the back of a truck, then I'm a terrible person and I just suck. I'm not a high value individual, right? And we got to talk about what's high value because you have to understand that all these terms are subjective, right? What's high value to you, right, if not necessarily high value to somebody else. Here's an example. So by Mr. Samuel's definition of high value, and from what I've been hearing, right, okay, we talk about a person that makes six figures. Now, if that person makes six figures but punches you clear through your face for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, are they still high value? Right? Or, and we'll talk about the characteristics that Google says or some articles say about or traits of high value people. And it's like people are searching for unicorns out here. Right? And it's weird. This is the new, you know how we talk about body image, right? I think this high value is the new body image. It's the new unattainable unicorn, right? When we look at 12 traits of high value, here we go. So we talk about 12 traits of a high value man, right? Okay, and I don't know who wrote this, but let's just talk about it because it sounds like, okay, one, he's proactive. That makes sense, right? A high value man will always live with a proactive mindset. He won't sit idly and waste his time, energy, or resources. He understands that every day is an opportunity. Got it. He's intentional. Got it. Within this trait of proactivity, a high-value man will also seek to be intentional. He won't want to waste resources on things that don't matter. He'll focus on his mission. Makes sense? Takes action. Got it. 2, he has a purpose, right? So he sees a goal. The life of a man without purpose is like a ship adrift in the sea without a compass or a map, blah, blah, blah. You get it. He visualizes his ideal future. That's, I don't think this is unattainable. I think every man, every person should have this. We're talking about men right now. We definitely should have a vision, right? He visualizes his ideal future. He writes down his goals, writes it down, has it in his head, however he wants to do it, as long as he's working toward it. He makes a plan. Cool. He's radically self-responsible. High-value men understand that all resources are valuable. That means money, time, attention, affection, networking, contact, social connections, influence. Now, think about this, because this right here brings you in direct conflict, right? Because we're put in this hot girl era to where, if he loves me, he's going to do whatever for me, whenever for me, however for me, right? Okay. But it says right here, if he's high value, he's radically self-responsible. So that means if you want the whole new Gucci fit, right? He may say, no, I don't think we can do that right now because we're saving to get this new house or invest in some real estate properties. But the way that we've been taught is that if he's responsible enough to say that, it's not him being responsible. He's broke, he's cheap, and, so forth and so on. There's a young lady, and she has a podcast called Spoiled Girly Support Group. And the name of this YouTube is Women Are Entitled Because We Need to Be. And she begins her YouTube by saying this, if you can hear her.
I'm entitled, I'm a gold digger, I'm spoiled, and I am not apologetic at all.
So she begins with, I'm entitled, I'm a gold digger, I'm spoiled, and I'm unapologetic about it. I'm entitled, I'm a gold digger, I'm spoiled, and I'm unapologetic about it. Okay. And we see this trickling. So like when the article was like, do men, hate like women? No, we love women. We don't dislike women, but we dislike this, right? And then it brings me to the young man at Shake Shack, right? The young man at Shake Shack, and I don't know if you can hear this, but he goes, when the young lady goes on TikTok and tries to disrespect this guy for a lunch date at Shake Shack, where they're wearing sweatsuits and jeans anyway, but okay.
On a date to Shake Shack, like of all places, look at it. You got all the chains and stuff like that on your neck. It shit right there wrong.
Shake Shack is nothing wrong. Then you order the chicken sandwich and stuff.
And he was like, hey, you got me on TikTok dogging me about going to Shake Shack, but you ordered chicken. You ordered the meal. You're about to eat. And her response was,
Shake Shack is a good spot.
Really? So you could have took me nowhere else better than Shake Shack.
Shake Shack is a good spot.
I mean, this what you got me. That's it. You got me 2 sandwiches and a drink.
and if you've ever been to Shake Shack is like Five Guys. Like, you're going to spend some money at Shake Shack. It's not like you're not getting a 4 for $4 at Wendy's. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, yeah, I spent $50 on this lunch. You wanted to go on a lunch date? I took you on a lunch date, talked to you, and he's shaming her and she's shaming him on social media. So it's frustrating to figure out, like, what exactly is required of us, right? Like what exactly do you know? So conversely, you hear, take me on a date, plan a date, you figure it out. I don't want to plan everything. I don't want to do everything. And then you have a guy, and again, and he made a great point. He's like, we're having lunch. Now, do I necessarily think Shake Shack is a place to go for dinner? That depends on who you are, and that depends on where you are in your life. You know, these folks are relatively young, like, so, but for lunch, Shake Shack, I don't think is a bad place to go to get to know somebody and try to talk to someone. So plan it, put it together, date, do this, and then we keep seeing on social media where guys are getting clowned. So the guy gets clowned for Shake Shack, the guy before got clowned for Cheesecake Factory, and that's wild to me. And I have another comment. Let's go. False lifestyles of disgusting music, lyrics, videos. Okay. Just we'll say some, we won't say all, but some women allow the false lifestyle of disgusting music, lyrics, video, and social media to dictate how they themselves should look and live. It's really sad. It is what it is, though. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you know, this guy is trying, right? So then you fast forward it to where people are like, well, how come guys aren't doing this? Or how come they don't do that? And I'm not talking about like the bums, because bums are going to be bums, and I can't account for bums. I can't account for bums. You know what I'm saying? But there are a lot of guys that are really good and really solid that are confused as hell, right? We don't know. We don't know, should we open the door, or are you too independent for us to open the door? Should we pay for it, right? Or should we go Dutch? Does that empower you if we go Dutch, right? Or should we just ignore that and do it anyway, right? What is the right action? And then we get called indecisive, coward, sassy, because now we're confused, right? Like, what the hell? How should we do this? Where should we go? So then the lady back in the article, you know, we talked about shame, but she said something else in this article. She said that a huge quota of plain, heavyset, or past a certain age women would most likely say no as far as men liking women. And her contention is that men only like women that have sexual value to them, right? And there are definitely guys like that. And she's saying that plain, heavyset, or past a certain age women don't have these values. So, okay, I read this in the article. Then I'm back on TikTok, right? And Talia Lichstein is the TikToker, right? And I don't know if you can hear this. I'm going to play this.
When you look healthy and youthful.
Men will fuck a corpse. Mortuaries prefer not to hire men because they so much more often have the issue of men fucking the dead bodies.
She starts off this saying men will fuck a corpse, right? So in the one article saying that women aren't getting attention because they're plain or they're past a certain age and no one's sexually attracted to them. And then over here, this lady is like, men will fuck a corpse.
And would fuck this little crease where your armpit is.
The little crease where her armpit is.
In your life, worrying about what men like. Men will stick their dick in a wall if they can find a hole.
We will also have sex with the wall, apparently.
Waste your life away if you spend your time sitting around researching what men like right now. What is the trendy thing for men to like in women? If you leave a piece of warm pie on a counter, a man might fuck it. Why do you care what they like?
So again, one, people are past their prime and nobody's attracted to them. And then the other part is, well, we'll do anyone at any time and do anything, right? So it's difficult for us to kind of figure out what exactly is necessary, right? And it's not a cop like, oh, well, we're going to play stupid and confused because we're stupid and confused. No, we're intelligent and confused, right? Because we don't necessarily know in a lot of ways, because we're hearing a certain set of women saying they want this, a certain set of women saying they want that. And then if we don't know that, then we're the sassy apocalypse, right? So I've been in situations where I've sat down and I've spoken clearly and said, look, you did this. I didn't like that. It didn't make me feel good when you did that. Oh, you didn't feel good? You didn't feel good? Oh, I heard your feelings. Your feelings, right? And then out the other side, well, how come men don't talk about their feelings? And how come we don't explain? How come we don't? Right? And it's weird. And then what you get is, well, that wasn't the right person. The right person would understand. And how many, we're not virgins. This is not our first person. It's not our second, third, fourth person. Like we've lived this life, right? So I just think that as we progress to understand one another, that one, we have to take the outliers out of it. We have to understand that social media is sensationalism, right? These lists that people have for each other, you have to be this tall, this thick, this big, this little, wear this dress size and all that kind of stuff. Most of us know that's bullshit, right? Most of us know that that's nonsense, right? And the idea that everything is going to be unicorn rainbows, right? And everything's going to be sweet. No, every person's going to come with an amalgam of nonsense, right? Every person's going to come with their own brand of bullshit. And it's just a matter of, is it the kind of bullshit you can deal with, right? Is it the kind of stuff that you can work with? Because everybody's going to have it. You're going to have a guy who cheats, but takes care of the family, who loves everybody, who does all this stuff, but he steps out. You're going to have a guy who doesn't step out, but he's financially unfit, right? So you're going to be struggling, trying to figure that out. You might have the guy who doesn't step out, who's financially fit to an extent, but he spends more time with his mother than he does with you, right? And then in the flip side, on the woman that you love or you want to be with, there's going to be a percentage of nonsense in whatever you choose to do, right? And we got to just start off knowing that. Start off when we're talking about these high value people. First, make your own list. Make your own high value list. What the hell does that look like? What the hell does that mean for you? Like, this is your homework. I want you to go home and write your own high value list, right? And forget about any other list you heard, right? What attracts you? What makes you feel good? What makes you say, okay, this is going to be my person? And that is the only list that matters. It doesn't matter what any YouTuber, podcaster, blogger, anybody says, bro, sis, it's on you. And then have the strength to tell your friends to fuck off. Because I think that's the hardest part for a lot of people. You might be really happy with somebody, but then your friends are talking. And what's weird is your friends aren't in a happy relationship. Your friends aren't in good relationships. People are, and people front. Like, when someone's telling you about your relationship, go to their house, hang out, really see what it is. Because people will sell you a dream. Dudes will be sitting in the barbershop, yeah, man, shoot, she do this for me, she do that, she do this, she do that, and all that nonsense. And you go to the house, And none of that is true. And none of that is true. So, it's where somebody said I have no sound, but there people are hearing me. Other folks, I don't know. We'll play it back for him. So what do you know? Yeah, that's all. Boop, boop. So, and people that make you feel like there's something wrong with what you have. And everybody has an opinion. But the one question you have to ask is, are you happy? Are you happy in this situation? Whatever it is, are you happy? And that's all that needs to matter. And we have to be realistic, because what happens is this. If we know that a person is chasing a dollar, then we can pretend to have those dollars and have our way with the person and then bounce. And a lot of people get fooled, get tricked, and get put in bad situations because that's what they wanted to do. That's how they portrayed themselves, right? And if all I want is the booty and all she gonna do is just pretend like this is what I'm about to get and then bleed me dry for everything else, that's on me too. So I did some digging, and I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to me, because I'm trying to figure this out. All right, so we have a comment that says, hold on, let me open it all the way up. Says, pay attention. Don't push your desires when they aren't mutually expressed. Do your manly duties and let her do her womanly duties in an active relationship, not in a dating space. Okay, I want to put a pin in that. I want to come back to that part. Have the same outlook with actions backing all they say. Okay, 50-50 is real, not just financially, but effortlessly, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Right. Okay. And she brings up a point though here. We're talking about in an active relationship, not a dating space. Right. So how do we differentiate between that dating space and that active relationship? Because I saw a TikTok again where the lady said to the guy, if I was your wife, I would do this, and this. And his response was, okay, if you're my wife, do you want to marry me? And she said, yeah. And he was like, well, why do you want to marry me? Well, because you protect for me, you provide for me, you do this, you do that for me. And he said, yeah, so I'm doing all the things that a husband does. And that's why you want to marry me. But you want me to wait until we get married for you to be in the wifely space. So I would just want to know clearly, like, what is that active relationship versus dating space? And then who's responsible for what in that dating space, right? So if in the dating space, we go out to dinner, I take care of the dinner, you might be short on a bill or two, we're dating, I might help you. Do I do that? Or do I not do that because we're in a dating space and then I wait to an active relationship? Okay, so dating space is trying to see, an active relationship is where we are. So, okay, so you go out on a date, like go to see the movie, dating is 50-50. Okay. All right, I think you might be in the minority on that. But I respect it. I respect the hell out of it, actually. But it's weird, though. I wasn't raised that way. So if I'm going to ask somebody on a date, I'm going to take care of the date. But I respect that. So what matters is what matters to you. And I can't say that enough, and I can't bring that back enough, right? And whatever Kevin Samuel said before he died, I knew it. I'm not dating 50-50. Okay, but then here's the question then. You're not dating 50-50, so then is 100% on him? Or so what happens for him in that phase, right? So he's pursuing you. And here's the thing too, like a lot of us, like we don't mind pursuing. We don't mind paying for dates. We don't mind doing that stuff. But what happens is sometimes you chase the rabbit, and then when you catch the rabbit, the meat is bad. Right? So it's like you chase, you spin, you write poetry and do all that stuff, and you find the person and you get the person. And then when you get her, she's like, oh, well, congratulations, you got me. It's like, okay, well, now what? Like, where do you feed back into me? Like, what happens, right? But then we get offended when you're like, oh, well, what do you bring to the table in the beginning conversation, right? So like, which is weird to me for someone to get offended by that, because isn't that what we're trying to find out? Like, hey, I want to know if we're compatible, so this is what I can do. What can you do? Right? Yeah. Nah. Liz, I get it. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it is. And I'll give you an example. So I got married at 20. I got married at 20, and before the marriage, we were in the church, right? We were in the church after the marriage too. So I had to court her, like traditional old school court her for years. You know what I'm saying? And sacrificed to be with her, forsaking all others kind of a thing. And then we got married and it was trash. Trash. She talked to me trash. She didn't, pour love into me. She just wasn't good to me at all. And it took 3 years for me to have her and to be in a relationship with her. Chasing, running, chasing. And then when I caught her, it was awful. So it's like, if you're a person who likes to be chased, cool. But when you get caught, like, don't just turn around and look like, oh, congratulations, I'm the catch. Okay, but show me why you're the catch. And that's not just busting it open on a handstand. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like that's not just busting open on a handstand. That's not just, oh, I'm going to do something I saw on Pornhub. It's, you're stressed out. You're trying to accomplish something. There's just so much, There's a pastor I knew, and he was a dynamic pastor. But he wasn't selective in marrying. And his ministry could never go where it needed to go because that person, that teammate is hella important, and I don't care what anybody says on the internet, your partner, you go as your partner goes. So if you got a dope ass partner, you can do a lot of dope stuff, but it's got to be you two against the world, and y'all got to be eye to eye on most things. So, and I've been married a few times, And I've never got to that eye to eye in a real way. Which is why I do so much research to try to figure it out. Maybe, maybe my caliber, I don't know, because I've had some pretty high, whatever this high value list says, like I've had that. I no disrespect to them, just didn't work out. But I've had some pretty high caliber folks. And however you want to measure it, from degrees to work to, a lot of beautiful things. But it is what it is. Again, this has been, okay, so like I'm getting all this feedback. I'm ready to close, but y'all still talking. So, but again, whoever you're going to be with, that's between y'all, and that's up to y'all. And Kevin Samuel shouldn't have anything to do with it. Neither should the peanut gallery, because the peanut gallery breaks up a lot of relationships. If there wasn't a problem when it was just you two, there shouldn't be a problem when you went to go see your homeboy. There shouldn't be a problem when you went to go see your homegirl. Now you come back and there's beef. It's bad. It's bad, right? And it's really bad when I think about like what it does to the Black family. And it just seems like there's always new ways to try to destroy it. We need each other. We need each other. Black men need Black women. Black women need Black men. We need each other. We need each other bad. The protection, the provision, the love, the connection. We need each other. And we're all fronting like we don't. I don't need a woman. I don't need a man for nothing. I don't need a woman for anything. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And no, you're right. Nobody wants to put up with the bullshit. Nobody wants to be abused. Nobody wants to be, I looked at that, they have a meme out where they have Kevin Samuel's picture in the back and this old dude sitting there eating his food with a dog, watching TV. Like, yeah, y'all keep listening to Kevin Samuels, y'all gonna be lonely and all that stuff. Well, I mean, if the alternative to being alone is to being abused, if the alternative to be alone is to be miserable, it's better to be alone. But those aren't the only two options. It's not miserable or alone, because there are people who are to put together beautifully, and they go through their struggles and they go through their beefs, but they make it, right? Because they're intentional about it. So I understand that and I get that, but we got to start there. We need each other. And we got to stop saying that we don't, because that's a lie. We need each other in real ways, right? So start there. And and there's another brother, I'll play this last thing I had here. And no, you don't need this. You don't need this. And I understand that. So
men always have a problem with women saying, I don't need no man, but you be so non-useful. How you gonna be a man that's not useful, that's not a leader, that doesn't provide structure, mad that a woman saying she don't need your ass? What she means is she don't need your drama. She don't need your immaturity. She doesn't need the problems you're bringing into her life. She doesn't need your gaslighting. When she say, I don't need that type of man, she talking about you, she not talking about healed, healthy men. All she need she need a man that's gonna be a partner. Yes. She need a man that's gonna be a father to her children. She need her soulmate. She don't need your raggedy ass that's coming into this relationship unprepared. If that man ain't adding, he's subtracting. So subtract him. Men always have a
So, and I feel that. And I think that, and if you couldn't hear that, clearly the brother was talking about when women are saying they don't need a man, they're not saying they don't need a man. They're saying that they don't need anybody who's going to take from them and not add to their life, right? Someone who's not going to pour into them, who's just going to pour out of them. So, and I get that 100%, and I agree with that 100%, and I believe it's the same for us, right? We need people who are going to pour into us. We have to pour into each other. And I want to leave on this one thing because this always confused me, right? Why do I have to check you if you love me? And why do I have to check you if you care about me? Why would you want to talk to me crazy, do something that you know is just out of bounds to see if I'm going to pull you back in and corral you or let you do it? That's something that kids do, right? That's something that people who don't know you, people on the street will try you to do some nonsense, but you shouldn't put yourself in a place where I would have to check you, because you should care enough and respect me enough to check yourself. Just like I should care about enough and respect you enough to check myself. If that's what we are and that's what we're doing. I dated a person who was like, yeah, I was in your face. I was testing you. I wanted to see if you was going to hit me, if you was going to do this to me. And I asked her, I was like, so what if I would have gone the other way? Who wins? Who wins in that test? Who wins in you, I'm over in this guy's face because I want to see if he's going to let me do it. Or, oh no, I'm going to go somewhere with my breast out because I want to see if he's going to say anything about me wearing this. You're grown. You're an adult. I shouldn't have to dictate, I shouldn't have to dictate what you wear. I shouldn't have to dictate where you go, who you're with. Yeah, you're an adult. You dictate that. Just like I have to dictate this. So people, you let her do that or she's doing that. And they're grown. It's just showing me that we don't have a future, but she's grown. And I'm not going to be in anybody's face trying to dictate what they should do as an adult. That's foolish to me. And then I get, to some guys no, you're going to do this, or no, you're going to go there. No, you're going to, and there are some women who don't think you're a man if that's not what you do. You're not checking me. You're not being direct. You're not, screaming, hollering at me. Why? Why are we doing all that? We're adults. We can talk. Come, let us reason. Sit down. Let's speak about it. I'm highly intelligent and articulate. We can really sit down and have a full-fledged conversation about whatever you want to talk about. And I noticed that when you can actually do that, some women are intimidated, which is weird. And I don't know if the caliber dude is just stupid. I don't want to feel like my brothers are like that, but you'll be talking to people, you'll talk to people and they'll say, da-da-da-da-da-da, and you'll say, okay. And then you reverse engineer, you bring that back. Okay. So when you said this, boom, and then you said that, and then you said that, but this is what you were doing, right? This is what you were saying. Oh my God, you're reading me. Oh my God, you're not reading you. I'm just intelligent. So we're going to have an intelligent conversation. So don't bring me bullshit that you don't want me to bring you. Right? And it's confusing. Even when folks are like, hey, I want honesty. I want honesty. And I've been in relationships where it was straight up. This is what it is. This is where I'm at. This is what I want. This is who I need. Okay. Yeah. I can't believe the last one didn't do that. Oh, this is. Then 3 months in, It's like, why not believe a person who's telling you what it is? Right? When a person's telling you straight up, look, this is who I am. These are the 10 things I need. Can you do that or no? And if no, that's okay. Like, what am I going to do? Drop kick you? It's weird. We all want the truth, but we don't want the truth. We front like we want the truth, but we just want to lie. Tell me what I want to hear. Sell me a dream. Sell me a dream. You know, your last 10 boyfriends were gaslighting narcissists. The last 10? The last 10 were gaslighting narcissists. If my car was stolen 10 times, every insurance company would drop me. If I missed work 10 times for the same reason, I probably wouldn't have a job. Well, I don't know how they find me. I don't know. Are they gaslighting narcissists, or did you have a couple gaslighting narcissists and then you just put everybody in that category? You know, and the same thing for us. Oh man, she wasn't nothing, man. She was trash. Everybody was trash. Everybody. You know, the only constant in all of our relationships is us. You know? So, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Quips and Riddles. This will be uploaded on YouTube with the intro and all the other good stuff. As well as on Apple Podcast. You could check out the podcast before this. And we'll be doing these Fridays live like this. Thank you for all you guys who participated. Yeah, my throat is start yakking. So like, share, appreciate y'all. Love, peace. God bless.
Bye.